Come on, won't you party with me? Party with me. Party with me. Party with me. Party with me. 5 different nachos.
All right, you are listening to the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. Hello, I am Caleb.
And I am Rachel.
It's weird. I can hear Rachel.
I can hear you fine.
I can't hear myself. We are experiencing a bit of technical problems. One moment.
Hey, it happens sometimes, but right now we got a few things for you this week. We have some movie news, including, Marvel and DC and some stuff on Jurassic World. We also have some Nintendo news, which is Xenoblade Chronicles. We have our Nerd Vote. It's going to firmly plant our favorite wall crawler in the current continuity with the Marvel Universe and maybe even make him part of the Avengers team like he's supposed to be, I might add.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know Spider-Man was part of the Avengers. That's a shock.
Oh, yeah. He's done stints with them in any case. He tried to join the Fantastic Four once upon a time. Spidey's been doing a lot of stuff. Spidey's everywhere. He's my favorite Marvel superhero, period, aside from Gambit. And, that's saying a lot because I really love Marvel. So, that's pretty cool. But another cool sort of things about this title, if the New Avenger is its title, it's going to kind of echo the first Captain America's subtitle, which is the First Avenger. Previously, the Marvel Cinematic boss, Kevin Feige, I think that's how you pronounce it, or Feige?
I couldn't tell you, but I think I fixed. Can you hear me?
I think so. I can.
Well,
but he previously stressed that the reboot would forego an origin story, this would kind of be a Spidey reboot in any case.
So there's another Spider-Man origin story.
Well, it's not. It really isn't. It's going to forego it.
Okay.
People already know the origin story. They don't need another origin story.
We've seen it twice already.
And if you count all the different cartoon series, et cetera, you've had like 5 origin stories. Let's be honest here, guys. But it's going to focus on the characters' high school years. Since they still have that deal with Sony, it's going to be co-produced with Sony. But Marvel is actually getting actual input now.
Yay!
Instead of the yes, no, maybe so. But that's where it is on Marvel news. Our DC news is actor Ben Affleck has been reportedly seen in Toronto, which is where the Suicide Squad, the Joker, Harley Quinn, that part on the DC comics,
and then all the other people who people you can't remember.
Well, these pictures have found their way online, and it shows pictures of him going to on set. So this leads to some speculation that Batman and or Bruce Wayne will actually cameo in the DC Comics supervillain movie. Now, previous reports also might have said that claim that Batman will cameo in the Suicide Squad via surveillance or camera footage, like security camera. So the spy photo below, one of the pictures that they posted on this article, shows Affleck dressed in a suit and sporting basically the way he was dressed in the new trailer for Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. Now, what's really interesting is I'm pretty sure the Suicide Squad is going to come after Batman vs. Superman. It's going to be released after, as far as I know. Now, but what's interesting, though, is another report claimed that Jared Leto who's playing the Joker in Suicide Squad, is going to make a cameo appearance, murdering Dick Grayson.
Oh, how fun!
A flashback scene in Batman versus Superman. So there's going to be a lot of different cameos, and I'm kind of glad that DC is getting on this, because Marvel's previously been known for the cameo stuff that they have, as opposed to, say, not having them at all. So that's pretty cool. But also, Also, confirmed actor Daniel Bruhl is going to be playing the hooded villain Baron Zemo in the new Captain America Civil War movie. Well, at least he's hooded in the comics anyway.
Yeah. I don't really know much about this guy.
I don't
to
know
be
a bunch
honest.
about him either, but he looks really cool. That's all I know. He told British newspaper The Independent that he would be playing Captain America's antagonist when the film starts shooting toward the end of this month. The word had actually leaked earlier this year that the actor might be playing that character, but now it's confirmed.
It's confirmed.
Yeah, confirmed.
Confirmed.
Yeah, so lots of superhero news right now, and, that's cool.
In other movie non-superhero related
But important,
news,
I might add.
Jurassic World is essentially a direct sequel to Jurassic Park.
It is.
What? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, it makes sense to me.
But wait. 20 years after the events of Spielberg's film,
That's when it's set.
that's when it's set. In that time, a functioning theme park has been constructed on Isla. Is that
Yeah,
what- Isla?
this where in Jurassic World,
New
the new
bar.
one, in the new one,
Isla Nublar.
in the new film, this new park has been constructed on Isla Nublar, which is overseen by Claire Deering, who's played by Bryce Dallas Howard, and a bunch of staff, and then the Velociraptor trainer Owen Grady, who's played by Chris Pratt. So what they're saying is that they're kind of ignoring Jurassic Park 2, which is what Lost World or whatever, and then Jurassic Park 3. They're totally ignoring those. In a sense, they're not like totally throwing them out of continuity, but they're saying, well, those took place on a different island.
Yeah,
so,
there's some other billionaire who wants to revive dinosaurs on a different island.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, what's happening is when the first Jurassic Park movie came out, and then in that 20-year time that passed, the other folks had started constructing the new one on Isla Nublar. And while all this 20-year thing was going on, you have the other movies occurring on the different island. So maybe they learned from their mistakes. I highly doubt it because,
not.
well, if they did, there wouldn't be a movie. So
Of course, we wouldn't make any money if they knew what they were doing.
Exactly, pretty much. But I, for one, am excited because the Jurassic Park movie is just, oh man, I love it. I love that film. And the music, John Williams is the man. He is the man. And for this new one, you see all these little throwbacks to the to the theme of it all. And oh man, it's just brilliant. And I cannot wait until it comes out on June 12th, let me tell you.
Sure, a lot of people are anticipating the release of that movie, which is June 12th?
June 12th, yeah.
June 12th. All right, next up, we will have your inevitable Nintendo news, as well as an early nerd vocab to go along with it.
Yes.
Because the Nintendo news is a bit short today.
And Jake is mysteriously absent.
Jake and Amon have had different things to do. Jake's doing homework, and Amon is setting up for the graduation.
Commencement and Miracle of the White Leaves, probably.
Right.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on here because it's finals week.
It's the end of the week, and me and Rachel are here. So.
Yep, that's what's up.
All right, and the song coming up is by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. It is Travelin'.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yes. And
There's going to be a lot of that coming up soon.
Yep. And we'll be right back here on the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio.
And we are back on the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. My name is Rachel, and I have with me my good friend Caleb.
What's up?
Yeah.
Hi.
So we are back. We are definitely back, as far as I know.
As far as we know.
So now we have our inevitable Nintendo section. Inevitable, because it always happens, because there's usually always something, no matter how big, no matter how small, going on with Nintendo.
There's always something every week, because they are a big company.
Oh, yes, they are, and they do a lot of stuff.
So this is all on the hype train.
Yeah.
Especially this past week and this week, the hype train for just Xenoblade X is just... They're doing like live streams and everything.
Yeah, and they were releasing all these different videos and screenshots and wallpapers.
Yeah, wallpapers.
And it came out today in Japan, but today was yesterday in Japan and today's tomorrow, and time zones, people. time zones.
What is today of the yesterday's tomorrow? don't
I
know,
feel like
something
I'm
that.
in a Back to the Future movie. I mean, but it's pretty much, it came out. It's looks really, really good. Somebody posted the entire intro cutscene cinematic thing online. You could just look it up on YouTube. It looks great. It looks awesome. It's very action packed and wow. And but as part of a series of updates to the website, the official website for this game, Monolith Soft, the creator of the game, revealed the nature of the downloadable content planned for the Wii U RPG. So basically, they've announced DLC at the release date.
Yeah,
but it's not day one DLC.
It's
though.
not day one DLC, but it's like a few days after.
Yeah, it'll start being available very soon.
Which is
so the DLC products include a series of new playable characters, and a series of additional quest packs. In total, there are 7 DLC products, which will be available as a discounted bundle, which is roughly going to cost around $17 US. It's different in yen, which ends up saving you actually like $30 from buying them individually, or not really 30, saves you like 10, because it would be like an upwards of $30 with buying them all individually as they come out. But each DLC character pack provides a line of 3 quests involving that character. Completing the quests will get them that make not only that party member available, but their special attacks, getting rewards, and basically it gets all sorts of different things.
And they come with their own skull, which is the giant robot suit that you can purchase, which I hear is extremely expensive, so it might just be worth it for the getting the skills alone.
Yes.
Because from what I heard, it's just ridiculously expensive.
And there's every different one comes with a different scale, which, as you said, is kind of like it's the Gundam units, guys.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. They're basically Gundam units. So it's very, very interesting. But the quest packs offer the missions that, they not only raise your level, but you can earn more money, increase your party's affinity, which is
important.
Very, very important, because it allows you to level up certain abilities that you wouldn't be able to level up otherwise. You get certain moves you wouldn't be able to get otherwise. So the higher your affinity, the better. The higher it is, the better. But however, there is a certain cutoff point. Like if you want, at least this is the way it was in the original Xenoblade game. If you raised your affinity with, say, Dunban, which is a character from the first game, you couldn't raise your affinity with the other guy.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
there
weird.
were certain cutscenes and actions and missions that you would do that would cut off certain affinity upgrades that for certain characters. They wanted to, they didn't want you to unlock everything. They wanted you to be able to. They wanted a kind of a more realistic thing. Like, you can't get everything. If you get this, you can't get that. Yada yada yada.
I do remember that, like, certain quests, if you did them, you couldn't do another certain quest in Chronicles, which is kind of annoying but kind of cool at the same time.
Yes.
And going back to the whole DLC thing, I have mixed feelings about that. Like, it's a couple of days after they release it, which is
a week, about 10 days roughly.
It just has a feeling of like, yeah, we had this, but possibly the developers, like the art people,
Yeah.
and they just don't have anything to do. So what do they do until the game is released? They make up like characters and cosmetic
now
stuff
this
and
this
things.
won't be. This is the planned DLC. There could be stuff that that is in the process of being planned now. So there could be more DLC on the way, which would give the art people more stuff to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is not day one release, but it's like soon after. It's like when you get a season pass to something, and sometimes there's some DLC available right away, and then there's some that's not. This is kind of the same principle. Like the game came out technically today in Japan, and it'll come out, the DLC at least will come out on May 8th over there. The Western release I don't know.
We don't know yet.
It's slated for this year, probably Q3 or Q4, but we just don't know.
If they have a good translation team that can do it by the end of the year, I think it's going to come up around Christmas, which is going to suck because I kind of want it now.
Well, I do too. I do too. But I mean, this opens the route for them doing like a Wii U bundle with just this game, which would be very lucrative to them because some people are going to get a Wii U just for this game because it's literally so big. And I would agree with that personally because that would be something that I would purchase. It's usually better monetarily to purchase it as a bundle than it is otherwise. So that's basically what I think. But, it really depends on how long it takes to be localized. If it's any indication, we didn't get Xenoblade, the first one, until almost 10 years after it came out. And, well, not 10, well, more like 5. Since it came out over in the UK, which was bizarre, and Japan.
UK,
yeah,
of all places.
yeah. Well, the UK got it, Japan got it, pretty much everywhere else got it except the US. That was a little weird. It's a little weird. Led for some very interesting voice acting though. But we.
Oh, so that. Okay,
Yeah.
I just click.
Yep.
Click.
That's why. Yep. That's why they're all British.
I
But
see.
yep. So this kind of goes into our nerd vocab in a way though, because
it does.
yeah. Well, we like this game. We don't care what other people think because we like it. We like what we
We're
like.
nerds and we are proud.
We are nerd and proud. So that brings us to our nerd vocab. I'm stealing Jake's segment here. Everybody watch out. Watch out. Our nerd vocab today is based. Based. And it means it's when you don't really care what people think. It's a way of life. It's you do what you want, how you want, when you want.
Yeah. What brought this on and why I added it is because I saw like a webcomic and it was like, thank you, based iced frog. I was like, what? What is I've heard that a lot and I just kind of like, shrugged it off. But I was like, I'm curious. I'm going to put it in the nerd vocab this week. So
because there's certain internet terms that people don't really think about. Like they see it and then they think, well, that must mean something, and then they don't really think about it otherwise. But I for one think it's interesting because it's not a term that you hear very often. Sure, in certain circles, yes. I mean, I've heard Jake call me based Rachel. So I guess that he says that when I put up my, I focus on one thing. Like there's news about Final Fantasy 15, which we're going to get up to next. And I put on my blinders and that's all I care about. And sometimes, that happens. And I think we all get like that sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Well, that's it for your inevitable Nintendo news segment. Next up, as Rachel said, we have a bunch of Square Enix and Final Fantasy news. That's pretty much all that's up next. Square Enix and Final Fantasy news here on the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. And the song we're going to play is one that came out just today, and it is by Random Encounters, and it is called. The song is Street Pass Love, and it's all about the 3DS Street Pass function. That's what the song is about.
Get ready to nerd out, guys.
Oh yeah, and we'll be right back. All right, you're listening to the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. Welcome back. Now we have Final Fantasy and Square Enix news.
Da 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 da.
I should add that. Yes, thank you for
that is
reminding
the
me about
victory
that.
fanfare
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know. But yes, there's a lot of Final Fantasy news right now, mainly circling around my game child, Final Fantasy 15. That is a game I've been waiting nearly a decade for. So I'm pretty gosh darn excited.
So the demo of that was released a while ago. Right?
Yes,
and the feedback.
But they
come
had a
in.
feedback survey.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's still open. It's open for like a few days now, or this is the first kind of increment. They're going to open it again. But what's going on is with all the input they got from these surveys, they have already revealed some changes that are going to be made to the at least the demo right now. So they're going to be updating the demo and adding some new content, which is something that's interesting. But I need to remind you guys that this is kind of like old-fashioned beta testing. When people used to beta test a lot back in the game. Like, this was a paid thing. Beta testing used to be a paid thing. It still is a paid thing in some respects if you're like a professional beta tester, or if you work already on site.
In the treehouse.
Yeah, if you work in the treehouse for Nintendo or something like that. Or if you are part of the lower tier of a development team, typically, you'll beta test stuff, and they'll give you active, updated demo versions of the game for you to play, which is, cool. But this is kind of like that same thing. So they're going to be adding some changes into the demo for people to try out and then give feedback on again. So they gave this info in this active time report, which was done by Hajime Tabata, the head of the director of the game now, as well as marketing manager Akio Afuji. The word marketing interests me since that is my degree. They explained what many people found troubling, and then how the developer is going to take steps to make the end product more palatable. So he acknowledged that the game's controls itself received the lowest score, and I for one provided my feedback on this, because the camera and the lock-on feature and the general feeling of chaos in combat was coming under scrutiny. Now, what it is you had to press a little too many buttons for what you were doing. Like, you literally had to hold on to the dodge button or the defend button the entire time that you were defending, instead of just tapping it. So that totally removes one of your fingers from the entire equation. And then lock on was very spotty. It either locked on or it didn't. If the enemy moved too fast, it threw off the lock on, etc., etc., etc. And sometimes that happens. That's why they released these demos, so then they are able to get fan feedback and see some problems. Now that they're updating this stuff, they'll get feedback on the updates, and it'll help the development out. He acknowledged the problems and that they are going to be addressed, but he's promised that the team is thoroughly addressing it. He's also promised that the team's AI, artificial intelligence, is going to be bumped up, and a mini-map and difficulty option will be added. So this is a relatively new thing for RPGs, because RPGs can be pretty complicated and actually pretty hard. And this game is hard, and I'll get more on that later. But so they're going to add probably an easy, a medium, and a hard mode, like they do in Kingdom Hearts. So another thing being borrowed from the Kingdom Hearts Center.
What was that? Bravery mode?
Yeah, bravery, like brave mode.
Brave mode, which is like 1 HP.
Proud mode. Yeah, all this different. Gosh, and they have a way to make it really, really hard, or just fun and relaxing, like I would like it to be. I would like to experience the story, and that's what's most important to me. As complaints about the performance, they had some, frame rate issues during battle because there was just so much going on. He explained that the demo did not have anti-aliasing, which is something having to do with how the game operates, period.
Right. I hear a lot about anti-aliasing, especially on PC games.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure what it is.
It has to do with managing the
idea.
frame rate drops and how the game is, I guess, processed and whatnot. But the finished game is going to have that. I guess it was to, cut down on the size of the demo, because the demo itself was relatively large. Similarly, the frame rate optimization will be an absolute priority going further, which is everyone felt that the frame rate and was really, really important to moreover than the resolution, which it's half a dozen, 1/6 another on my point. But he revealed the top complaints from all across the country actually differed. The people in the U.S. found this is funny. The character Noctis, the main character, the prince. This is what the U.S. said. He sounds like Batman. Like, that's literally what they said. He sounds like Batman.
Wow.
And then European viewers were not comfortable with the over-sexualized depiction of Sydney, which is the female version of Sid. So in relation to the voice, Tabata's like, the lines were done last minute for this demo. This is not going to be dialogue that is going to return in the game, except for maybe a few lines. And by the time he realized that it didn't work, it was too late. And so thankfully, Square has re-recorded the lines, or re-recorded stuff to make Noctis seem younger. And this is the direction that will be taken for the rest of the game. And in regards to Sydney's portrayal, Tabata emphasized that she's not meant to be that way, and if that's the problem, it could be because she was created by male developers and they're going to rein it in. So that's, to me, is pretty funny, being a female gamer. And
so yeah, a lot of female developers make these female characters, and then people are like, oh, look at them, and she's all like, scantily clad. And,
yeah, well, she's
but they're like,
she's not. She's not super.
Female.
Yeah, she's not super scantily clad.
Right. So it's kind of funny though when they're like, "Oh, this character," and like, did you know Bayonetta was made by a woman, guys?
Yeah. Fun fact.
Did you know that?
Fun fact. But he also reminded us that she's not going to be the only female character. There are going to be some female characters that appear as guest members, and the men of the party are going to act a little different around them. So that's going to be pretty realistic. But other certain things that they're going to be like these updates that they're going to be added, which the version 2.0 is going to be available for download. The update in mid to late May is going to enhance the active cross battle system, so what you experience in the demo, if you played it or if you've seen it, it's going to change. The camera issues in targeting is going to be slightly fixed, and they're going to see how that goes. And also new moves are going to be added, such as joint attacks, which will add to your combos, and then exactly. A possible dodge roll is going to be added, as well as changing the range of Noctis's weapon, which is good because that will help with the targeting issues. As regards to other possible features, Tabata suggests that you might be able to do quests in which you're paired with one or two other characters, provoking different conversations. And when the party regroups at the night's camp, different characters may bring back different items.
Interesting.
So another big fix is, of course, the frame rate issue, which has been patchy thus far and experienced dips, especially during combat. But like I said, this is a good way for them to test any updates that they're looking at putting in the actual game. Now, here's the interesting thing that I mentioned earlier about the difficulty of the game. When they did this survey, they took stuff from Europe, they took stuff from the US, and then from Japan. It was taken differently pretty much all across the board in every single country. Like I said, the US thought Noctis sounded like the US and Europe thought Noctis sounded like Batman, which was interesting. But the feedback on the demo also different in terms of difficulty. Japan thought that the game itself, they were really critical. They thought that the Japanese players didn't like the characters. They found the game too difficult and didn't understand the goals, which in itself is very strange because Final Fantasy is their games, which it's weird. You're playing a game made by people living in your own country. But I guess they felt that it had a little bit more of a Western RPG vibe, which to me is kind of good because when I played it, it felt like, all the good things from Final Fantasy, the big immersive story, the interesting looking characters, the interesting looking battle stuff. But then it also, with the controls and just how the game handled, it felt more a little bit like what's termed a Western RPG, made over here either in the States or in Europe. Like, say, Bethesda's games and stuff like that. Now, that to me, it was very interesting. The North America, we love the demo. Moreover, because we've been following it and waiting, like a decade for it. And they thought the story, and they were most us here in the U.S. were most interested in the story, which I find to be probably the most important. Because if a game has a good story, if it has shoddy controls, yeah, that's annoying. But if what you care about is the story, you're going to play the game anyway.
Right.
So that it's a lot of stuff going on, and when the update comes out, I'll be able to tell you guys more about it and give kind of my input as well as do the survey again. But they said that the surveys were a very, very good way to find out the input of the fans. So they're going to continue doing that. So I'm excited.
Right. Well, good on them. Next up, we're going to run through some video game news.
Yep.
Yes. On the Nerd Edification Hour here on Alternation Radio. And the song coming up is If You Only Knew by Shinedown.
Yes,
Indeed. Play on the break. And we'll be right back.
And we have returned on the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. I am Rachel, and I have with me my good friend, Caleb.
What's up? All right, let's get right into it.
Our video game news, yes.
Yes, our video game news. It's quite a bunch. So, if you have not heard, Valve last week thought it was a good idea to release paid mods on Steam for Skyrim. Several problems with that.
Lots of problems.
we'll get into why, but it's gone. It's over.
They have took it down.
It's done.
People are mad, but it doesn't matter. It's gone.
It lasted for a short time because everybody was up in arms about Valve and Bethesda to just say, hey, all right, here's paid mods, which things about this. Okay, so several things. I don't think it's a bad idea that modders should be paid for their mods. And if you don't know what a mod is, it is basically a add-on that people create, other gamers or artists make to add to a game. So it's kind of like an upgrade. It's kind of like DLC, but made by other people.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. That's what a mod is.
Custom DLC.
Custom DLC, exactly. And it's all over the PC market, which is one of the good reasons why PC is awesome.
It led to a lot of fighting. It led to a lot of different stuff, and it was just more trouble than it was worth, so they cut it down. I mean, Gabe Newell, the head of Valve, got downvoted into oblivion on Reddit, so that was bad.
Well, thing is, people were going on the Skyrim Nexus, which is a place where you get mods.
Yes.
And they were stealing them from there and putting them on the Steam Workshop
and
page
claiming credit.
Yeah. Which is bad. And then
People
Steam was claiming 75%
of the revenue from it.
Doing nothing but hosting it.
Exactly.
Doing Bubkiss, which is no.
In itself
bad.
Is just nuts.
It's just,
so
that was wrong. No.
They took it down. Oh, and speaking it's just wow. But speaking of things,
but it's all over. So
it's done.
Moving on, Rachel.
Speaking of things that are done with, Silent Hills, the much anticipated new Silent Hill game done by Guillermo del Toro and Metal Gear Solid designer Hideo Kojima is not happening.
It is
literally it's dead like the characters in the game.
It's gone.
It's completely gone. It was announced last year through the playable teaser called PT, which actually stands for playable teaser. I think it's still up on the PlayStation Store and whatnot. For now, I think it's gonna be gone tomorrow, like May 1st. So if you want it and you want to continue to play it and have fun with it, get it now.
Yeah, I think
it's going to be gone forever.
Kojima left, and then they're they even said, "Hey, we're still gonna make PT, or we're still gonna make the Silent Hills with an S," but they're like, "Nope."
No, it's not going to happen with Kojima not involved anymore, and Guillermo del Toro was really, really looking forward to it, and and if they're not working together, it's just not going to happen. That's just what's going to happen, and it's very, very sad, but in that light. In that light, it's a good thing that it's gone too, because the fact that it came out and then was canceled, or this sort of thing happened, gave publicity to the Silent Hills genre, got it back, gave publicity to the Metal Gear Solid genre, in the fact that Kojima was involved. So something came out of this. Something did, but was it what people wanted? Not necessarily, but And of course, we do have some Five Nights at Freddy's news.
Five Nights at Freddy's 4 has been confirmed.
Yes, it's actually happening. And there's been a huge conspiracy about it of when it's going to happen. People are saying it's going to be, it's going to be titled a sequel, talking about the Bite of 87, which is what basically spurred the entire game, the storyline. It's, the animatronic bear bit a kid, killed a kid.
I think it was adult.
I don't know, but
I think it was an adult.
It got injured, and then the place got either shut down temporarily or something. Who knows?
And they had to close it down. And then
basically, this story is what in game is what spurred all this stuff going on in the game. Not a real story, mind you, but this theory itself sparked a lot of interest online, and it got way out of hand. So people, what they would do is they went into the code and they got something out of the code of the website, and then they Googled it, and it came up with this special secret thing, or what they thought was a special secret thing, and it wasn't. And so basically what happened after that, when other people tried to look it up, is this random pizzeria in Virginia came up. Has nothing to do with the series. It just sells really large pizzas came up. And people started calling the number, asking about Freddie. And
You know about Freddie? Is Freddie there?
It has nothing to do with it at all. And it got really, really out of hand. The employees were getting really, really mad because all these kids and crazy theorists were calling and kept asking about Freddie, and it's just terrible. The Five Nights at Freddy's Reddit board is currently on lockdown. It's nuts. The original creator has posted a statement about it, please do not call the pizzeria. It has nothing to do with the game. He's removed all the different 87s from his code and all. It's just nuts. And this is only goes to show what happens when fans get out of hand. This happens to celebrities all the time.
I think they're going a little too
crazy
with this. Other than that, that's about it for that news.
Yeah, so we'll find out more on Five Nights at Freddy's, but
when we know more.
This is a little scary because of how out of hand it got.
Oh yeah, it's man, people are really into this. Next up, we will have your straight from Japan news. We'll try to.
I'll squeeze that little bonus in after this song.
Which is the Digimon theme for good reason.
Yes.
And you're listening to the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. We will be right back. Hello, you're listening to the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Rachel.
And now we have your straight from Japan news imported from the internets.
Yes. Of Japan.
Yes.
So the reason why we played that Digimon song is because guess what?
What?
The last Digi-Egg on the Digimon website has hatched. The gasp. But yeah, so this one revealed a visual for Digimon Adventure Tri, the anime that's going to be celebrating the 15th anniversary of Digimon Adventure, the original series. So along with news that Nico Nico is it's a TV sort of broadcast thing. Marathon is it's basically they're going to marathon the original anime, and it's going to end on May 6th with a big presentation of a preview. So it's going to list the who are the human cast members in the game, who's returning. They've already listed what Digimon are returning and all that kind of stuff, and I'm sitting here I don't care. I just want to know whether which English voice cast members are going to return. I want to know whether I'm going to hear the people talking that I grew up hearing are going to be there. Maybe some of them, at least Ty.
So
Please tell me Ty's coming back.
So what hatched from the egg was basically an announcement for an announcement.
Yeah,
for the trailer.
Announcementception, in other words.
Yeah, I mean, I can dig it. I think I'm excited for it.
I can too.
Yeah,
and
it's Digimon.
In related anime news, the first new Dragon Ball TV anime series has been announced, and it's the first new one in 18 years. So it's announced with a Japanese premiere set for July. It's called Dragon Ball Super. Famitsu reported that the new show is going to be written by the creator Akira Toriyama, with the events taking place after Goku defeats Majin Buu, which is one of the most well-known villains in the entire series.
Yeah, and if you don't know, if you haven't been following Dragon Ball, but you're a fan, GT is not canon, apparently.
Completely not canon.
Which is,
It was just for fun. Okay.
It was just for fun.
Trade secret, guys. It's all filler.
Going back to the Digimon thing, though, Toei Animation is going to be... Toei?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Toei Animation is going to be head of that, which is a bit concerning, possibly. They have good things, but...
They've been around for a long time.
Thing is, they know they just do it for the profit.
Yeah.
And they cut corners, which...
Well, they've been around for a long time. Some of their voice stuff is very, very good. But my problem is with Toei is every time something of theirs pops up on Netflix, they never have the English on there, which is my main concern because I think Naruto was first localized by them. Made me mad because I wanted to watch it on Netflix and I'm not getting any of it. And it's just, gosh. But yeah, so, and that's... Well, there is also a Pokemon exhibit opening up at the Mirakan Science Museum in Tokyo.
Which is interesting.
Why are they doing a Pokemon exhibit? I don't know, but
because it's Japan.
There's going to be, it's going to talk about, deduce which Pokeballs contain which Pokemon. It's going to be like a children's sort of thing. So something interactive for them to think
And they're
about.
going to classify the species as well. So it's going to be like a little game. It's like, what's inside this Pokeball? Or like, who's this Pokemon? And it's like, it's Bulbasaur. What genus is Bulbasaur or something like that? I don't know. Something like that.
I understand what they're trying to do, and it's really, really neat for the kids, but Pokemon aren't real. So that's a little interesting. But
don't say that.
I know I'm such a dream killer, but the exhibit opens on July 18th. Hey, if you're in Japan, that's cool.
You can go get tickets if you're in Japan and you're listening. I don't know if you can afford a flight to Japan. You could go ahead.
Road trip to Japan. But yeah, that's and earlier I did mention Naruto. But fun thing is there. The Weekly Shonen Jump has revealed that One Piece is going to be having some stuff returning, as well as Naruto Gaiden called the 7th Hokage, and the Scarlet Spring month. That has to do with Naruto's kids. If you've watched that anime, he's all grown up now.
It's like, hey, Naruto's done. Nope, just kidding. Now we're gonna continue on with this kid's like, what the
how many years has that been on? 10 years plus. That show's been on now.
One Piece has been on there longer, so
it just goes to show that Japan's really serious about their manga and their anime, and if it will keep going and keep earning the money,
will keep going.
It will keep going
and going and going.
But yeah, so that's
as long as there is fans to fuel the fire, it will continue.
Yes, it will.
Run.
I thought Naruto had a brilliant ending, and it was perfect, and it didn't need anything else. There were some loose ends and stuff that I wanted to know, but they could have waited.
But you're supposed
a few more months.
Interpret that for yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like
they could have waited at least. It ended in November of last year. They could have waited until at least November of this year to do anything. Give the fans some time to sort some things out. Okay,
settle down. Settle down, everybody.
But yeah, that is our straight from Japan news this time. It was a lot of information, I do admit.
Yeah. Thank you for listening out there. If you want to hear more, go to the YouTube channel Strangely Entertaining, capital S, capital E, one word.
Yep.
Where I post videos and things, and then the Twitter is at Nerd Edification, where I post things occasionally when I remember.
The Facebook, we try to post things on a daily basis. I try to do the, this day in nerd history. So that's a Nerd Edification hour on Facebook. So if there's anything you want us to talk about on the show, please be sure to message us on Facebook.
Or any music suggestions.
We are always open to suggestions. Oh, and shout out to Rich Wentworth at the Hadron Gospel Hour. He liked our page, and that is really cool because this podcast is awesome.
Yay! Yes, thank you. It helps my self-esteem out a bunch.
It just helps us, and I think it's neat. So what's the song we got for our outro, Caleb?
The outro is from Ori and the Blind Forest, and it is The Blinded Forest. That's the name of the track.
Fun.
All right, until next week, stay fancy. Bye.